Have you ever walked into a place for the first time and felt like you already knew every corner of it? Or met someone and felt an instant connection as if you've known them forever? These moments are not just coincidences, they could be glimpses of something much deeper. Many ancient traditions believe that the soul doesn't belong to just one lifetime. Instead, it moves through different existences, carrying memories, emotions, and even talents from one life to the next. And sometimes, those memories break through, appearing as déjà vu, unexplained fears, or an unshakable sense of familiarity. But how can you tell if your soul has lived before? The signs are subtle, but they are there, waiting to be noticed. And once you recognize them, you may start to see your life in a completely different way. Today, we'll uncover 9 signs that your soul has been here before. And the first one? It's something that makes time itself feel like an illusion. You're in a conversation, and suddenly a wave of familiarity washes over you. The words, the setting, even the way someone moves, it all feels eerily familiar, as if you've lived this exact moment before. But how? You know this is your first time experiencing it, yet something inside you whispers otherwise. Déjà vu is a phenomenon that has puzzled scientists and spiritual seekers alike. Some believe it's a glitch in the brain, a misfiring of memory. But what if it's more than that? What if déjà vu is not a mistake, but a memory, a brief, fleeting moment where your soul recalls something from a past life? For some, déjà vu isn't just a feeling. It's a full-body experience. A city you've never visited before feels like home. A language you've never studied sounds strangely familiar. Even a scent in the air can trigger a deep sense of nostalgia, as if you've breathed it in many lifetimes ago. There are even cases where people experience déjà vu so strongly that they instinctively know what will happen next, as if they are momentarily aligned with a past version of themselves. These moments raise a profound question. If your soul remembers pieces of a past life, what else might it still be carrying? Because sometimes it's not just places or situations that feel familiar. It's an inner knowing, a wisdom beyond your years. Have you ever been told that you have an old soul? Perhaps you found yourself giving advice that surprises even you, or understanding concepts that others your age struggle with. This isn't just maturity, it could be the echoes of lifetimes past, where your soul gathered experiences and lessons that now manifest as innate wisdom. Some children exhibit this from a very young age. They speak of profound ideas, question the nature of existence, and offer insights that seem far beyond their limited years. It's as if they carry the weight of many lives, wearing a cloak of knowledge woven through centuries. And this wisdom doesn't come from books or schooling. It comes from somewhere deep within, a reservoir of memories carried across time. Think about those with unexplainable talents, child prodigies who master complex musical instruments without formal training, or individuals fluent in ancient languages they've never studied. Could it be that they are simply remembering skills honed in another lifetime? The theory of reincarnation suggests that our souls retain these abilities, waiting for the right moment to resurface. But this ancient knowledge often brings with it a sense of isolation. You might feel disconnected from those around you, as if their concerns and conversations are trivial compared to the depth of what you sense. This dissonance isn't a flaw. It's a sign that your soul has walked many paths, seen many worlds, and learned lessons others have yet to discover. And sometimes, this profound awareness comes with a burden, a fear that has no clear origin or a phobia that seems to arise from nowhere. Because what your soul remembers isn't always comforting. Some fears make sense. A person who nearly drowned as a child might fear deep water. Someone who was in a fire might be terrified of flames. But what about the fears that have no logical explanation? The intense fear of heights in someone who has never fallen. The overwhelming dread of deep oceans in a person who has never been near one. Where do these irrational phobias come from? Many believe that these unexplainable fears are not random. They are echoes of past life traumas imprinted on the soul. A person with an intense fear of flying may have perished in an air crash in another lifetime. Someone who panics at the sight of a sword may have been a warrior who met a tragic end. These fears don't stem from the present, but from something buried deep in the past waiting to be remembered. There have been cases where people, through past life regression therapy, uncover shocking connections between their phobias and past life experiences. And astonishingly, once they confront and process those memories, the fear disappears, almost as if the soul, having finally understood, is able to let go. But fears aren't the only emotions that travel across lifetimes. Just as pain and trauma leave a mark, so do other powerful imprints. And sometimes those imprints don't come in the form of emotions, but in something even more mysterious: dreams. Dreams are more than just the mind's way of processing daily life. Sometimes they feel like something else, like a memory surfacing from deep within, slipping past the conscious mind while the body sleeps. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so real that upon waking, you were left with the unsettling feeling that it wasn't just a dream? Many people experience recurring dreams of places they have never visited, yet every street, every corner feels eerily familiar. Others see the same mysterious faces over and over again, strangers in this life, but with a connection so deep, it feels as if they have always known them. Could these be fragments of a past life? Pieces of a story the soul hasn't forgotten? Some individuals wake up speaking words in a language they've never learned, recalling detailed memories of landscapes they've never seen. Others describe battles, historical events, or even ancient cities that, upon research, prove to have actually existed. How is that possible? Are these dreams purely imagination, or is the subconscious accessing something far older than this lifetime? The fascinating thing about dreams is that they often reveal what the conscious mind is not ready to accept. They act as glimpses, small, scattered puzzle pieces of something greater, something the soul has carried through time. And if the past leaves traces in our dreams, could it also leave traces in the things we are drawn to, in the places we feel we belong, even if we've never been there before? Have you ever felt an intense connection to a place, a culture, or a time period that you've never actually experienced? It's more than just admiration. It's a pull, a feeling of belonging that defies all logic. Perhaps ancient Egypt fascinates you beyond reason, or the sound of a particular language feels oddly comforting, even though you've never spoken it. This deep attraction often goes beyond simple curiosity. Some people find themselves inexplicably drawn to specific historical events, art styles, or traditions. Others experience an overwhelming nostalgia for a time long before they were born, as if part of them remembers walking those streets, wearing those clothes, and living a life that history has already recorded. There have even been cases of people instinctively knowing how to navigate cities they've never visited before, or feeling at home in a foreign country from the very first moment they arrive. They might have dreams, déjà vu, or a strange sense of ease when engaging with a culture they've had no prior exposure to. Could this be proof that their soul has lived there before? Some believe that these affinities are remnants of past lives, subtle imprints left on the soul. And if these imprints can shape what we feel drawn to, could they also influence how we feel in the present? Could they explain why some people feel so deeply out of place in the world they were born into? Some people move through life effortlessly, feeling at home in their surroundings, but others feel like they're out of sync with the world around them. It's as if they were placed in the wrong era, the wrong society, the wrong time. No matter where they go, they carry a sense of disconnection, like a traveler who has lost their way. This isn't just social awkwardness or dissatisfaction, it's something deeper. People who experience this often struggle to relate to modern trends, values, or ways of thinking. They feel an unshakable sense that things were once different, that they belong somewhere else, in some other time, where life made more sense. To them, many old souls experience this. They find themselves drawn to the past, feeling more aligned with ancient wisdom, forgotten traditions, or ways of living that no longer exist. It's not nostalgia, it's a kind of homesickness, a longing for something they can't quite explain, something that feels just out of reach. Some believe this disconnect is a sign that the soul has lived through many different lifetimes, accumulating knowledge and perspectives that don't fit neatly into the world as it is now. And often this feeling is strongest when they meet people who seem familiar, as if their souls recognize each other from somewhere beyond this lifetime, because sometimes what makes a person feel different isn't just the world around them. It's the souls they meet along the way. Have you ever met someone and within moments felt as if you've known them forever? A stranger who feels like family. A new friend who understands you in ways that even lifelong connections never have. A love that feels timeless, as if it has existed beyond the limits of this life. These instant bonds are not always logical. Sometimes they form without shared experiences or common backgrounds. It's as if the connection was there long before the introduction, waiting to be rediscovered. Some believe these are encounters with souls we have known before, individuals we have shared past lives with, reconnecting once again. And these connections aren't always pleasant. Just as you may recognize a kindred spirit, you may also feel an inexplicable tension with someone, a gut feeling that warns you, a sense of unease that has no rational cause. Could this be a remnant of past life conflicts? A soul that once hurt you, or one that you once wronged? Many traditions believe in the concept of soul groups, people who are destined to meet again and again in different lifetimes to continue lessons that were left unfinished. Whether as friends, lovers, mentors, or rivals, these souls find their way back to each other, drawn by invisible threads of shared history. But while some soul connections leave only emotional imprints, others seem to go even deeper, leaving physical marks that follow a person from one life to the next. Some people are born with small, unexplained marks on their bodies, unique shapes, scars, or discolorations that have been there since birth. To science, they are nothing more than genetic variations, but in many spiritual traditions, birthmarks are believed to be something far more mysterious, traces of past life wounds carried from one existence to the next. There have been astonishing cases where individuals, especially young children, recall vivid details of a past life, including how they died. And when their accounts are investigated, their birthmarks often align with fatal wounds from their supposed past incarnations. A mark on the chest, where a spear once struck. A scar-like formation on the neck, where a life was cut short. The coincidences are too precise to ignore. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a renowned researcher in reincarnation studies, documented hundreds of such cases. Many children who spoke of their past lives had birthmarks matching the injuries of the person they claimed to have been. Their memories were detailed, their emotions raw, as if the trauma had imprinted itself onto their new form. If birthmarks truly carry the memories of past wounds, what else might the body remember? What if certain talents, certain fears, and even certain physical traits are echoes of an existence that never fully faded? Perhaps the soul doesn't just retain knowledge, it retains purpose, and that purpose often manifests as a deep, unshakable feeling. Some people drift through life searching for meaning. Others, from a young age, feel an unshakable sense that they are here for a reason, though they may not know exactly what it is. It's a quiet, persistent feeling, like a whisper from the soul, there is something important I need to do. This feeling of purpose often appears without a clear cause. It's not always tied to a career, a dream, or an external goal. It's something deeper. Some people feel a pull toward helping others, as if making amends for something left undone. Others are driven by a passion that feels like a continuation of work they started long ago. And then there are those who feel a lingering sense of unfinished business, as if they are picking up where they left off in another life. Many believe that souls reincarnate not just to learn, but to complete what was left incomplete. Perhaps this is why some people are born with a natural inclination toward certain paths, drawn to specific places, causes, or missions they can't explain. It's as if their soul already knows what they must do, even if their conscious mind hasn't figured it out yet. But this feeling isn't always peaceful. It can manifest as restlessness, an urgency, or a longing for something just beyond reach. It's a pull towards something greater, a calling that won't be silenced. And those who listen to it often find that their past and present are more connected than they ever imagined. So the real question is, if your soul has lived before, what is it trying to tell you now? If you felt a connection to any of these signs, perhaps it's not just your imagination. Perhaps your soul is whispering, nudging you towards something it has always known. Because these moments, the déjà vu, the unexplained emotions, the deep sense of purpose, are not just fleeting thoughts. They are pieces of a much bigger story. Reincarnation is more than a theory. For many, it's a journey, one that stretches across time, carrying lessons, emotions, and even unfinished dreams. And if your soul has walked this world before, what else might it remember? What hidden truths are waiting to be uncovered? Maybe the reason you feel drawn to certain places, certain people, or certain ideas is because they are not new to you at all. Maybe your soul is simply remembering, and now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced any of these signs? Do you feel that your soul has lived before? Share your story in the comments, because sometimes one person's memory is the missing piece of another's journey.